All right, folks, before we get into tonight's topic, just want to take a moment to thank tonight's sponsor, which again is HelloFresh. Do you feel like you are stuck in a dinner rut? With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there is something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in today's show notes to get $80 off your first shipment of HelloFresh, including free shipping on HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit. And away we go. Yo, what's up? What is going on, folks? Welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. Thanks for listening to another episode of our show. Tonight we have a new movie, another 2021 movie. Excuse me, if I can only spit my words out.
Today, Junior.
We are, of course, going to give our instant reaction to Candyman, the 2021 Candyman, not a remake, a sequel. And we just walked out of the movie theater a few minutes ago, and we're going to talk about it after a few other things. And as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Kat.
Esteemed co-hosts.
My esteemed co-hosts. How dare I? Pardon me. Esteemed co-hosts, you've already heard one of them. Kat, what's up?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Great. Andrew, how are you?
Andrew.
Doing good. It's always nice to come right out of the movie theater and
Just talk.
do a podcast
And
about
just-
it.
yeah.
Just get right into
Absolute
it, dive in.
thought vomit everywhere,
Just
all over.
bleh.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
As fresh as it can be. You know?
Yeah. Are you ready to rock and roll, my friend? I know you've been looking forward to this movie for quite a long time.
Yeah. I was very excited for this movie.
Excellent.
You
Excellent.
sound so excited.
I
I was very excited for this movie.
I was
Okay,
very
Bill
excited for this
Belichick.
movie.
Can I ask a hypothetical question? And I know that no one that's listening is going to be able to answer this to us in real time, but does anybody else in the world go to the Kingston movie theater besides us? I feel like every
no.
There was-
single
There
time
was
we go.
3 other people there.
That's true. There were 3 other people in the movie with us, and I think I maybe saw 2 people in the theater the entire time.
When we left the house, you were like, I hope it's not sold out. I'm like, Mike.
Does anybody go to the movies?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Movie
not.
theater would be sold out.
I suppose not.
Dude, if there's a place that you don't want to catch COVID, go to the movie theater because there's
No one there.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we said that last time we did a podcast after.
Yeah, there was
No one there at Spiral.
absolutely
like,
nobody
there was no one there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is like a big...
it's a big release.
I
yeah.
I feel like these movies are going to get fucked because how much money are they going to bring in? I'm curious. I mean, I'm sure it'll have...
Yeah.
But
Well, aren't they streaming now too? in
aren't they?
addition to being
I
in
think
the
they were
movie
projected
theater?
for this one. They were projecting $15 million for their opening weekend.
Yeah.
God.
So
No
they
way.
made $15 at the movie.
Yeah. Jesus.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, I think if I'm not a huge follower of the Marvel Cinematic Universe train, but I think Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is also coming out this weekend, which will make a good amount of money.
September 10th.
Oh, September 10th?
On the trailer that we saw.
Oh, so it's not out yet. Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm wrong. I was going to say, because if it's coming out the same weekend as a Marvel movie, then it's definitely in big time trouble box
Yeah.
office-wise.
Yeah.
So,
Especially one I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
I'm like, what Marvel is this?
yeah.
Never heard of that.
Technically, isn't this movie out tomorrow?
It's out today
I mean,
because we saw it
Technically, it's out today.
Technically,
Well,
yeah. Technically, it's out
we
today.
saw it today, but
You
like
keep saying that, and I don't know
Yeah,
what that means.
what day did we
because
see the movie on?
No, I know that, but I thought the release date is tomorrow.
Wide release is on Friday, but as always, for Friday movie releases, there are a few Thursday night shows, which we have gone to see for some of these
couple.
movies, which I feel like a lot of people don't know exist. Maybe that's
Same.
why it's a
I mean,
little
that's
bit...
why. Like, if we were to
Yeah.
go on like a Saturday night,
Right.
like 9 o'clock,
Probably-
it'd probably
probably
be packed.
packed.
Probably
Yeah,
pretty busy.
absolutely.
Yeah, man, Kingston Mall, though. Holy shit.
Ghost
We should,
town.
we should,
Nothing
go,
in
we should
there.
just walk in there on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock just to see what it's going on. Just
Yeah,
is there people in here?
yeah.
Is anyone home?
Hello,
What's going on? Hello?
Pins
Hello?
is open.
Candyman.
Yeah, Pins is there. Pins is there still. And then I know Newbury Comics is still there. Macy's is still there. And beyond that, I mean...
And Yankee Candle.
Yankee Candle. But they're building those apartments over there,
And
so...
the Metro PCS is still there.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
Metro PCS is still there. Anyway,
There's not much.
Nice,
So, yeah.
nice mall talk.
If you want to see some spooky abandoned malls, go to the Kingston Collection, Kingston, Massachusetts, and walk around the corpse of what used to be a mall. There's
Yeah.
a few stores in there, including the movie theater, which we saw Candyman, the 2021 version of. Kat, I know before we jump into Candyman, we've been watching American Horror Stories. What are your thoughts on the first 3 episodes that we've seen?
I really like them. The first one was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first one meaning the first 2 because it kind of rolled into the next episode, even though they're supposed to all be different.
Mm-hmm.
The second story that we watched last night with the movie and the culty movie thing was awesome. I thought that
one was really good. That was way better than the first 2, I thought.
Yeah. But I'm excited to keep watching them. I think that they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're great.
You checked any of these out yet, Andrew?
I have not. You mentioned them the other day, and I'll probably get around to them. Just give them a shot.
They're
Yeah.
a quick binge.
That's cool.
But are they like 45 minutes?
They're like
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
with Hulu commercials, they last an hour, but it's pretty good. I would say check it out.
So
I don't have
many
commercials on
commercials.
Hulu.
Oh,
We do.
commercial-free Hulu. Look at
Oh,
you,
yeah.
fancy,
You have the
fancy fuck
upgrade.
you. And if you can't get enough of American Horror Story content, actually turns out the most recent season, though the new season of American Horror Story, the premiere was last night, so that's also available.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So the one that takes place in P-Town, the first
nice.
section of the double feature season, which is called Red Tide, which I guess is about vampires in P-Town. So that's out now, which we'll have to check out once we finish American Horror Stories. And we still got to check out that brand new cherry flavor series on Netflix. Haven't gotten around to it yet because there's only so much time in the day.
Cherry flavor?
Brand new
I
cherry
had a
flavor.
cherry icy tonight.
What-
That was good.
That's the one from the guy that created Channel Zero.
Oh,
Remember we
right,
talked
right,
about it
right,
last
right.
week?
Yep.
You may not.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I said you may not. I don't know. We talk about a lot of stuff.
I like Channel Zero. I remember that.
Andrew, you been
I
watching
still
anything good over the last week? Anything of note?
I
should
mean, I
write
watched
down what
the
you watch, Andrew.
original Candyman earlier today.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So that counts.
Yeah. That
does count.
And then I watched.
Well, we're going to talk about the original Candyman in a
I
second.
haven't really watched anything that I would call horror recently, so nothing of note.
Okay.
Boring. Boring.
I mean, maybe there was something. I was watching a lot of stuff, but I can't remember what I was watching.
Well, think about it. Maybe it will come to you.
Nothing of relevance.
Okay, fair enough. Saw some pretty good trailers for this movie tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Halloween Kills, which has been all over the place. Malignant.
Yep, that looks fun.
That looks pretty
Yeah.
cool. What else did we see besides those two?
Last
Oh.
night in Soho.
Last Night in Soho, which
That
is the new
looks
Edgar Wright movie.
weird.
Looks
Yeah,
really
that
strange.
looks
Yeah,
really
I'm
weird.
down
And
with
it
that.
has Anya Taylor-Joy in it, Andrew. So that's
there we
all.
go.
And
all-
the Jackass movie, which I am
yeah,
psyched for after
Jackass
that trailer.
Forever. That looks pretty
I
awesome.
think
Why?
it's better because they're so old now that it's like, yes.
Yeah.
Why did I think Steve-O was dead? Did Steve-O fake his death?
no.
Somebody died.
Someone died. Didn't
Somebody,
someone die?
I think somebody did die, but Bam Margera is not in it because he's all fucked up on drugs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the thing.
I was
Yeah, but
just thinking that.
Steve-O, I guess, almost died, but he got sober, and I think he's like doing all right now.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, Jackass
I was
Forever.
excited to see all those guys.
I did
was
not
like,
even
oh
know
my
that they were
God.
making one until the trailer popped up, and I laughed my ass off watching it. So I'm sure I'd like to see that. I love Jackass growing up. Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm
God,
psyched.
it's so
Who
funny.
doesn't?
All right, cool. So I think I don't really have anything for news. So I think probably now is a good time just to segue right into Candyman to talk about that. Which, of course, as you know, that's the movie that we just saw under an hour ago. As of this recording, we walked out of the movie theater after watching Candyman.
Right, let's not keep. No,
Who
Candyman.
Sprinkle it with poo.
So, Andrew, I feel like it's appropriate to start with you here because I know that you have been the most excited of the three of us for this movie to come out, and it has been delayed 3 times, and I know that you were disappointed each time that it did get delayed. So,
Yes.
I guess let's start out. Why were you so excited for this movie, and your thoughts on the original Candyman from '92?
So, I was so excited for this movie because I really liked the original Candyman. I like a lot of Clive Barker
Yes, you do.
movies. They have a very unique kind of vibe to them.
Unique New York.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. And I was excited to see it because, Jordan Peele was producing it.
Yeah.
And I liked Us, and Get Out, and all
Yeah,
that
you're
stuff.
a
So
big
that was,
Jordan Peele fan.
well, they're different. They're different.
Did you watch Lovecraft Country?
I watched
Parts
parts
of
of
it.
it. I should finish
Yeah.
that. You said it was kind of a meh.
No,
I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
it, and he has his hands in that also. I don't think
Yeah.
he wrote it, but I think he was the executive producer.
Like
or
I'm
something
executive
like that.
producer.
Yeah.
And the original Candyman, '92. I mean, I don't think I really saw any of the. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of like the follow-ups to those. I think there was like Farewell to Flesh, and there was one other one.
Yeah, I think there's only two sequels.
I think there's three.
I think
total.
this is the fourth one.
This is the fourth one, and this was definitely the best sequel of the other ones because I haven't seen the other ones, and they mostly garbage, basically. Anyway, from what I've heard. It's not better than the first one. I'll start off with saying
I don't think so either.
The first one was just iconic, subtle. Emphasis on the word subtle.
I think I kind of agree with you on that one.
The music, the music was. I mean, they used the music in it in this follow up to it, but the music in the first one is iconic.
Music in the first one's
score.
great. Yeah, and I think this definitely had like its
it had the tones to it.
It had like the Jordan Peele-ish kind of like music-y tone to it a little bit with this one, which I like. I
feel like it was very faithful to the '92 one.
It was.
So I liked how they went with that. I thought that was really cool. It wasn't just a direct remake, which I thought for some reason it was.
No,
it was
I thought that going into it
this is another one of those legacy sequels, like where you do a sequel to the first movie and you call it the same thing as the first movie, like Halloween '78 and Halloween 2018.
Which I just
another
don't
one
really
of those.
get that, but okay.
It's the latest. It's the latest trend. It's the latest trend.
Give it a little like tagline underneath it.
Yeah,
that makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, a legacy sequel.
Candyman.
So
Age of the Woke. No.
Would have been an interesting subtitle for it. Kat, I know that you watched today for the first time. Amazing to me, the original Candyman movie.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think?
It was it's a very Andrew movie, as I keep saying. I feel like it's dark, it's kind of twisted in a lot of weird ways. It has that old school kind of like filmed 80s, 90s feel to it and stuff throughout the whole thing. I liked it. I think I like both movies for different reasons.
Okay.
Already? I'm pretty much done.
All right, so before our pizza delivery came and Otis went absolutely bananas, you were saying you liked them both for different reasons?
Yeah. I mean, they're both very different. I mean, extremely different. Yeah. So, that's my thought.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Did you like Candyman better than you've seen? We did Hellraiser. Do you like it better than Hellraiser?
Yeah. So that was going to be a question for both you guys. Those are the two most popular Clive Barker adaptations.
I like Hellraiser better.
See, I like Candyman better than Hellraiser, I think.
It's tough.
On our Hellraiser episode, I think I said Hellraiser, but I kind of was thinking about that again today,
tough.
and I was like, I think I like Candyman better.
It's a toss-up.
You
could put both in front of me, and I'd go, I'll watch either one.
I feel like Hellraiser is just Clive Barker at his absolute weirdest.
That is super weird.
And Candyman's a little bit more accessible because it's kind of just like a slasher with some social commentary, which also this describes this movie, I think pretty well. Well.
Oh, yeah.
What's your overall thought, Mike?
I watched the first movie again today as well after I got out of work. First time I had seen it in years, and it's good. It's a very good movie. It's never been my favorite franchise, but it's definitely a good movie. I definitely remember it scaring me when I was a kid in the '90s because I have a fucking paralyzing fear of flying, winged, stinging insects. I hate them. So I hate bees and hornets and yellow jackets and wasps and all that. So that always freaked me out when I was a kid. And I think Tony Todd is absolutely iconic as Candyman himself. Daniel Robitaille, I should say, the original Candyman. So yeah, it's never been my favorite franchise, but kind of like Andrew was saying, I think anytime a movie is coming up that's a horror movie and it has Jordan Peele's name attached to it, it kind of it's gonna draw some interest and pique your interest, I should say, if you're a horror fan, because he's kind of doing the most unique stuff in horror right now.
You were talking about your fear of bees. Mm-hmm. So, in the original one, it looks like when there's bees coming out of his mouth and the bees are all over Helen, it looks uncomfortably real.
Yeah.
Are those real bees?
I don't know.
Because that I would love to know, because that's to the point where I'm like, that almost looks real.
I hope not.
Like, it's clearly not CGI.
Yeah.
So, what's going on there?
Stuntman?
I have no idea, but...
It was gross.
Excuse me as I yawn. Jesus. God, late movie. Yeah, that's horrifying to think about. I can't like the people that can do that like willingly with bees that like love bees. I don't understand.
I wish we could get bees.
No, you
You'd
don't,
never
because
let
it'll
me.
never happen. A divorce would happen first. We will never
Why would you
ever
want to
own
invite
bees.
them to your home?
They're
Granted,
cool.
honeybees don't do
Honeybees
anything.
are nice.
They don't sting you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want them at my home.
But then they'll get attacked by the giant Japanese
Those, like,
killer
murder
hornets.
hornets.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel like if you have bees on your property, you're inviting murder hornets into your
No,
backyard because murder
no.
hornets are going to come and
All right.
kill them all.
Let's kill
So-
this conversation. 'cause
Yes.
I'm never gonna win,
Yes, and obviously, so we mentioned Clive Barker. So the Candyman, the original Candyman movie is based on a short story from Clive Barker's Books of Blood. Short story is called The Forbidden, not actually called Candyman, called The Forbidden. Never actually read much by Clive Barker, including that short story or any of those short stories in that collection, so I don't know how faithful... Clive Barker was the executive producer on the first movie, and I think he got a credit on this one as well, so I don't know how alike the short story and the first movie are. But I'd be interested to know now. Maybe I'll go back.
Maybe read it. If it's
Yeah.
a short story, I can handle it. If it's
Yeah.
like 60 pages or
Yeah.
something.
So okay, so we talked
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about the older Candyman movie, and I know you guys both said you liked this movie to varying degrees. What did you think about the new one exclusively? Anything you want to add there?
So, very well acted.
Mm-hmm.
The main character, Anthony,
Yeah,
did a great job. I
yeah,
thought
he was great.
awesome.
He was awesome.
He played that role perfectly. Like, you couldn't ask for much more. The supporting actors throughout were good. Good concept for the story, like tying in the original one and kind of having a whole history of different Candymen. I like that aspect.
Yep.
There's obviously parts to every movie that you don't like, which I don't really feel the need to talk about. So
Yeah.
we'll just stick to the highlights.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with you. I think the cast was very good. I think it was well written. I think it was a good concept for a sequel that definitely paid homage to the first one and continued, I think, with a lot of the same themes and commentary from the first movie and kind of modernized that for 2021 or 2020, whenever this was actually shot, because I know it was delayed. So, it has that very
2019, I think.
2019 maybe when it was
Well,
filmed.
that's what
so,
they said in
yeah.
the top.
So,
He probably wants pizza.
yeah, it's impossible to talk about this movie without talking about the social edge to it, I would say, which is not very subtle. If you see the movie, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. It's about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face. But I think also it kind of, shines a light on some of the atrocities that have been committed by certain types of people across the years. But I liked it. I thought it was fine. I think I kind of feel the same way about this movie as I do the 2018 Halloween sequel. I liked the Halloween sequel a little bit better than I liked this one, but I think after the initial viewing, it's good. It's good. It's not great.
It's
not great.
There were no moments in the movie where it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't that...
There was one. There was one for me. There was one for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's one that we'll talk about, but
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about.
the very last shot in the whole movie, probably.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler later, I guess.
Yeah.
I really liked the whole, painting silhouette stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that whole aspect of it, whenever they were, telling us, the storytelling aspect of, telling the story.
Kind of reminded you of the Babadook.
Yeah,
Little
it
bit.
kind of
Little bit of
did.
Bob-
Yeah,
Actually,
with like
that's a good
the
call.
puppets, like the
Yeah.
cutout like puppets.
Yeah.
That was very well done. That looked
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
That looked great. I loved, every time someone told a story, all of a sudden it would just be acted out with these little,
Yeah.
dark marionette kind of
It was a good way to provide some exposition without actually showing flashbacks, like a creative way of showing
Yeah.
flashbacks of what actually happened.
Yeah, it was really cool. I loved how they did that.
Yeah, and there were a couple of cool twists in this that I liked. I think one of the twists, if you're a fan of the original movie and you're familiar with the characters' names from the original movie, it's supposed to be a twist for the new audience, but you know who the main guy is supposed to be from the get-go. But there was another twist at the end that I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess without spoiling it, that's kind of what I think. Do you have anyone else have anything else they want to add?
We're not doing spoilers, so yeah, no.
All right, cool. So of what we've seen for 2021 horror movies, I ask where this might rank, and just as a reminder, we've seen Spiral. Kat, you and I have seen Wrong Turn, the Fear Street trilogy, Quiet Place Part 2, Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, Godzilla vs. Kong, and I have seen Willy's Wonderland. Anyone? Anyone want to start?
It's not a very strong list, so
Yeah.
I would put this number 1.
Honestly, it's kind of been a tough year. Kind of been a tough year for movies, I think.
I don't know.
I would move this in front of The Conjuring because I had that as my original
I think
one.
Yeah,
maybe.
this was better than The Conjuring.
Yeah, I put
think.
it after A Quiet Place and before The Conjuring.
Yeah, I think A Quiet Place. I think A Quiet Place Part 2 was actually. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of miss this year.
They're all just kind of. There hasn't been that one that you go see and you're like, wow, that was the awesome movie.
Probably the closest one was Spiral for me. I think
Yeah.
that still stands out at the top of my list.
I think so too.
I think
You think Candyman's number 1 for the year?
I think this was.
Yeah,
this,
it's better than half these movies that
Then
have been out.
Spiral? Really?
You love Saw.
Well, yeah.
Remember? It was a good movie, but
Speaking of Saw, there was a Saw moment in this. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, there was actually. Yeah, now that you mention it.
Nice? Is it nice?
Yeah.
Was it nice?
I think this was better than A Quiet Place, better than the Conjuring movies, better than Godzilla vs. Kong and Willy's Wonderland, but I think the Fear Street trilogy, Spiral, and Wrong Turn were better than this, in my opinion. I think.
I've still only seen the first Fear Street.
I think that those
Oh,
three
you gotta-
movies,
you gotta watch the
those three
rest of
movies,
them.
they actually get better as they go. I think.
Yeah.
I think the third one was the best one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of I don't know, maybe we're just the outliers here, but I think it's kind of been a meh year for horror. But we're coming into, those 3 trailers that we saw for
Coming
those 3
into
movies
our-
today,
This
those
isn't going to be
could all
a year to
home
remember
runs.
for horror movies. It's
Yeah.
just
No.
not.
But we're coming into our season.
Yeah. Well, we got Halloween Kills, Malignant, Last Night in Soho, VHS 94 all coming out, plus a bunch of other streaming stuff that'll be out. So
Antlers.
Antlers, that's right. Antlers I'm excited for. I might be the most excited of the group for that one. So
I know.
all right, so for Candyman, the new Candyman, I should say, couldn't find a ton of facts just because it's a new movie, right? So
new.
it just not even really new. It's just kind of there's not a lot out about it yet. So
Fresh and fresh.
film was directed by a woman named Nia DaCosta, and was obviously we mentioned written by Jordan Peele. So this kind of has his fingerprints all over it. Again, probably one of, if not the most exciting new voice in horror. Everything, as you said, Andrew, that he does is pretty different, and he adds his unique spin on everything, which I feel like you can tell when Jordan Peele has his hands in a project. You could tell with this for sure. I know he has said, like, some of the behind-the-scenes featurettes that are out there on YouTube that, Candyman was a huge film for him as a kid, so to be able to kind of write a legacy sequel to that movie was a huge deal for him, and I think that shows. Because this definitely, as we mentioned, this movie kind of shows a reverence for the first one. Lots of callbacks, lots of details, lots of things like that that they did their homework with, regards to the first movie.
Yeah, because I almost thought when the movie first started, I was like, are they just ignoring the original Candyman?
I was wondering
The very
that too. I was
beginning.
a little confused. I was like, what's going on here? But
They
now,
finally
obviously,
mentioned
they explain it.
They built into it, yeah. So I was like, oh, we're just gonna pretend like that movie didn't exist,
Right, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, good, we're
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna be like very upset if they did that.
Yes. Yeah, and as we mentioned already, this film was initially supposed to come out last June of 2020, and was since delayed 3 times by COVID-19 horseshit. So,
Yep.
The COVID.
COVID, the gift that keeps on giving, folks. Film, obviously, as we already talked about, is a direct sequel to the original Candyman from 1992, which ignores the events of the sequels that followed. This was the same notion that was first used in, as we mentioned, Halloween 2018, which is a direct sequel to the 78 Halloween movie and ignored all of those other sequels. And now we're getting 2 more sequels to that Halloween, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And Halloween Kills, as I mentioned after we watched the trailer, could be one of the worst movie titles.
They should have
I've
done
ever-
it's
Halloween
awful.
Kills, and then the other one should have been Halloween Thrills.
Yeah.
Kills and thrills.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
If you're gonna go with
Yeah.
a lame name, why not just go all?
But
What's
out?
a what's
Play the
a
name
what's a
game.
worse title? Halloween Kills or The Conjuring? The Devil Made Me Do It.
It's too long. The Conjuring the Devil.
It's
Made
just
Me Do
such
It
a
is way too
cliche
long.
line. The devil made me do it.
Yeah.
Or
Why don't you
Halloween Kills. They're just like, well, what does Michael Myers do? He kills people.
Wow.
Halloween Kills. I figured it out.
There we go.
Season of the Witch. Way better name.
Season of the Witch. Yeah, and then obviously, so Anthony, the main star in the movie, his name is Yahya Abdul Mateen II. He plays a grown-up Anthony McCoy. Obviously, is the baby that is kidnapped in the first Candyman movie. So yeah, that's something that you know his name going into the movie. So if you're a fan of the original, you probably picked up on that. But that's one of the twists that I think, if you're a casual fan, it's meant to be a twist.
I like that they got the mom from the original one,
and it's the same actress.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, two.
I also was a little bit confused too at the beginning when they were talking about Helen and the story of her, and I'm like, did they see the first movie? This is wrong. You're forgetting a lot of it. What are you doing? But that was intentional.
Yeah.
Because.
Right.
But I was getting annoyed by that. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, I just watched this movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so I guess in terms of analysis, this movie is definitely about a lot of things that are prevalent, I would say, in the news and in society today. Lots of hot button issues are touched on in this. Obviously one of the things being generational violence, white people committing violence against black people, and I think that is definitely it's an interesting way to tackle it in this movie, and I think what they do, without completely spoiling it, because you already said it, Andrew, having the multiple Candymen over generations out for revenge after having atrocities committed against them is a very interesting angle to take.
I liked it. I thought that was really
it was cool.
well done.
It was cool. And again,
I
feel like that's Jordan Peele's fingerprints on it. I think they could have been a little bit more subtle with some of it, in my opinion, for my taste, but I can appreciate what they're doing there, and I think there were aspects of it that I thought they did very well. Anything else you guys want to add there?
No, I do think they could have been a lot more subtle with it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was over the top for most of the movie. Like, it was obviously not subtle, but it got wild at the end. Like, it was just way too... But, I mean, then again...
Yeah.
That's fine. You should have your social commentary. More movies should have social commentary. We should just... If you're gonna spend time seeing something and you are attracting an audience, why not, you made the movie.
Right.
Make it about what you want it to be about. Just subtlety goes a long way, I think. And maybe sometimes movies are too subtle and you don't pick up on it, so maybe you're worried that that's going to get missed.
Sure.
But
I don't think anybody could have missed the point of this movie.
And we had a feeling going into it because, like you said, even the original Candyman, that was a social commentary.
It's kind of funny because we were talking about this beforehand, Andrew, and I think that Candyman was kind of ahead of its time in that sense. Like,
absolutely,
it kind of had a lot of commentary about, impoverished neighborhoods and in the inner cities and that type of stuff, and it was kind of like
interesting,
kind of woke before woke was a thing in the early 90s,
a white
right?
British guy.
Yeah, I know, from Clive Barker. Yeah, very very progressive.
Yeah.
Especially for 1992.
Yeah. I was kind of shocked when it was so funny when I watched it. So I was like, wait, this was only out in 92? Why did I feel like it was older?
Because that's fucking almost 30 years old.
Stop. I know. I don't even want to think about that.
92,
That's
like,
crazy.
92, I associate, like, 90, 91, 92 with, like, 80s movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, the same feel.
The original one feels like an 80s movie to me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Anything Clive Barker makes
Yeah.
feels like an 80s movie, which reminds me, probably not this year, I know we got a pretty full docket, but Nightbreed. Do you want to talk about an Andrew movie?
Nightbreed.
Nightbreed, one of my favorite Clive Barker movies. It's so freaking weird.
We can talk about that at some point.
I think we probably should.
Sure.
A weird Andrew movie. We can do that.
Kat will watch that and she'll go, what the fuck are we watching?
Like, it's such an Andrew movie. I can feel it.
It's up there with, like, same level as, like, Phantasm, I feel like.
Phantasm's
Like that
definitely
level of weird and doesn't make any sense.
Right. Great. Looking forward to talking about it.
Anything else on the social commentary in this movie that you guys want to touch on before we move along?
I think
Okay, fair enough.
we're good.
All right, before we jump into our categories, which again have been revised since our Predator episode last week, couple new additions, couple tweaks, keeping things fresh. Just like Hello Fresh. Just a reminder that tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you again by Hello Fresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? Sometimes we all do. I mean, with HelloFresh, you get pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door.
I mean, we were in a dinner rut tonight, and I kind of wish I had HelloFresh.
We were, but we did get a lovely pizza from Family Pizza.
I was going to say, is a dinner rut considered eating pizza 3 or 4 times a week?
Same old things over and over.
Because I feel like that's not a rut. That's like
that's
living the lap of luxury.
Well, with HelloFresh, you can skip all those trips to the grocery store or the takeout shop or the fast food line, and they make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable, right? So you can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there's something for everyone to enjoy, even if you like to eat pizza every night. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Once again, go to the show notes for today's episode and get $80 off your first shipment from HelloFresh, friends of America's hometown horror. Thank you to them. All right, so that means we are rolling along here at a rapid pace.
Yes.
All right, so categories. First category, as always, is the cat category. The category, as I like to say. Cat, was this movie scary?
So I'm kind of torn. I'm going to say yes, because as I'm sitting here at this table with you, wonderful 2 co-hosts, I look into that, extra room that we have over there that's kind of dark, and I'm kind of picturing some
Candyman lingering in the background?
Oh, yeah, every now and then I'm kind of looking over being like, yep, maybe I was a little bit scared of him. Maybe I was a little bit more scared than I thought I was. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Andrew?
So the general context or idea behind this movie is scary that we would allow these types of atrocities to take place.
Yes.
That's more of the social commentary.
Yep.
No, and a hook, and he groined a gullet.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yikes.
I mean, yeah, much
There's
much
a way
more, much
I
more
wouldn't want to
gory
die.
death.
I don't want to die that way.
Right.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
if you're injecting bees in me while you're
Yeah, much more gory.
Good with that, too.
Instead of just being stabbed.
So scary as in I don't think I've ever said Candyman into a mirror 5 times.
I will
and
not do that.
I probably will never do
Nope.
that because
Just in case.
here's the thought. Nothing's probably going to happen. But what if it did?
Right.
What if it did?
So-
You would go, what am I, a fucking idiot? And you're dying by the Candyman.
Yeah, exactly.
For no other reason.
Yeah.
And then whoever you're with
Yeah.
is now going to be convicted of murder.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you didn't just ruin your own life. That
ruined
person's life is
whoever
over.
else,
And then it's just a cycle. You're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
inviting bad voodoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I feel like that's probably the scariest part of, not necessarily this movie, but, the franchise as a whole, the concept of Candyman, right, is, the urban legend aspect of it. Kind of like Bloody Mary, right?
Right.
You don't say Bloody Mary into a mirror 3 times. You don't say Candyman 5
I've
times
done that
into a mirror.
before.
You've done Bloody Mary?
I have too.
I have too when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
nothing ever happened.
I don't want Tony Todd showing up at my house.
Yeah, Tony Todd's scary. He's a scary motherfucker, for
His
sure.
voice
His
is
voice
so
is
good.
awesome. He's the perfect he's the perfect guy. for this
I'm a little
character.
disappointed that he was only there for...
Yeah,
Just
and
a
obviously,
second.
so we're in spoiler territory now, but that was for me. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about it on favorite scene, which actually is up
it's
next.
right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I was to say I think the urban legend part of this movie is the scariest part about it. I thought the way that it was very creative how they did some of the kills. And you could really only see Candyman in the mirror when people were being killed. So you only saw aspects of it, and you just saw the people flying around, getting dragged by the hook you couldn't see. I thought that was pretty cool.
Kind of like It Follows.
Yeah, a little bit
A little
actually.
bit like that.
Yeah, kind of like It
similar
Follows.
to that.
But yeah, perfect transition, as you were saying, Kat. My favorite scene, I thought. I liked a couple of different scenes, but the biggest, we talked about, the scene that made me go, wow, that was
The Tony
Tony
Todd
Todd
one.
at the very end of the movie. The last shot of the movie is literally Tony Todd, because they show Candyman transforming from basically one Candyman to the next, just the face changing, and the last one that it shows before it cuts to the credits is Tony Todd from the original Candyman, which I thought was a pretty cool touch. Kat, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
So I actually liked. It's not my best death, but I really liked the scene where the art dealer got killed.
Yeah.
With the Achilles tendon.
That was nasty.
Because the last time, what was the other movie when they cut the Achilles tendon? We saw recently, I feel like.
That
There's nothing, because it makes me just
Saw?
cringe.
Spiral?
Saw.
Was it
Spiral?
I
Saw?
think
Spiral?
was it Spiral? It might have been Spiral.
I feel like that happens in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But
And it
I-
makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's gross to
I
watch.
hated that guy so much.
I like how his name was Clive.
Because
Yeah, he was a turd.
I, like, as, you know, a graphic designer person, I've had, like, you know, presentation shows or whatever, and if I ever had that guy as, like, around during a show or whatever, I would go absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God he died, because he sucked.
Yeah, he was a terrible character.
He was awful.
Yeah, he was a pain in the ass. Actually, what I loved when Anthony was drunk at the art exhibition and he called him out.
That's
that
what
was pretty fucking
like.
awesome.
That whole thing was awesome.
That
That was a really good scene.
Pretty good. You know what? And I didn't like this movie. You did. This movie kind of reminded me a little bit of Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Netflix movie with Gyllenhaal, with, like, you know, the essentially, like, that's about art dealers too in L.A. and it's like, you know, essentially art coming to life and killing people, which there were aspects of in this. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that movie. If you've seen that movie, you might pick up on what I'm talking about. Andrew, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
I really like the scene when he was, I think it's when he first sees the Candyman, when he goes to the critic's house for the interview.
Yes.
And he sees himself in the mirror as the Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he realizes the Candyman is there, and he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I'm leaving, and then they do the fade away from you can see through the window, and it's just her getting hooked and dragged.
That was really
pretty
cool.
awesome. And it was a little glitchy. It looked fake, because obviously it was fake, but it was I thought that was cool.
That was my best death.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say it now.
Like, it was a little
Sorry.
glitchy.
Spoiler.
Could have been a little smoother. But then again, it's
thought it was
an invisible
awesome.
person hooking somebody. So
She
what is that
also
supposed to look?
sucked.
What I was surprised was, so when you were talking about your favorite scene with the, or Clive getting killed.
Yeah.
I was surprised because if they were going to go like the first one, I was expecting him to be not able to get unattached from her and not get killed, but get, you know, convicted of murdering her, and then like all that stuff. You know, like in the
I thought for sure they were going to go back down that path in the first movie, and
then they didn't. And I went, okay, so they didn't really even dive into that till like the very end, when they subtly brought up that if she doesn't, you know, take his story, she's going to be an accomplice to murder.
Right.
But other than that, they didn't play that at all, which was, and it was good. I mean, props to going original.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
But that guy was a penis.
Yeah.
Wicked. Oh, he was awful.
So was his little douchey girlfriend.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, what was the line? Oh, maybe that can be my favorite quote.
Okay,
But whatever.
That's actually favorite quote is up next. So
I
if you
know.
had one, I'm gonna roll with my man Tony Todd here at the very end, and it's gonna be tell everyone or tell everybody whatever he says. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, anything Tony Todd says.
And also the with like Candyman's final quote, he's like walking around the police car at the end, and he does that whole like monologue.
Well, yeah, that's from the original one. Yeah, that was gonna be mine. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, that was great.
But I feel like that's something that Clive Barker has in, like, I don't know if it's in the books. I'm assuming these parts like that, and then the Hellraiser, Pinhead's like dialogue when he talks. It's very just. He does it in a very, which almost gives him like this like god-like status, which is what I like about it. Like it's very, and it's not corny or cheesy. It's just spot on. Yeah, anything Candyman Tony Todd says is gold.
Yeah. Kat, did you have a favorite quote?
I was going to say, I don't actually, because we just saw this movie for the first time, and I don't remember what he said exactly, but...
you don't have to say it verbatim, yeah.
What Tony said to Clive when he was walking out the door about his intern.
And,
like,
that was
said
awesome.
Something about, like...
like a bucket of morning after pills for all your underage interns that you sleep with or whatever, something like that.
That was awesome.
Speaking of Achilles, one of the other lines, and like I said, I can't remember verbatim.
Yeah, it's hard.
It was just, it wasn't a quote. I don't think it was a quote. It was just the dialogue itself. Was when Anthony is sitting on the couch watching the news of the murder at the art gallery.
Yep.
And he's like kind of smirking, and then he's like, "They say my name." And and they're just, and his girlfriend and her brother are just looking at him like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
He's like, "What?"
That was that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
I like how Jordan Peele does that. He'll throw a little bit of like
his movies
humor
are
in there
funny.
sometimes.
Like obviously he's a comedian. He was on Key and Peele. He did sketch comedy. He's a stand-up comedian. Like that's I think one of like the strengths of his movies, because I feel like in horror movies you have to have at least have some comedy.
Yeah.
You know, and unless the tone is like super duper serious, right? Like I mean, you don't want to have
Well,
like
the original Candyman had no comedy.
none.
None. No,
None.
not at all.
Not
even
the
no
Hellraiser had
smiles.
none.
None.
I mean, it did have a little bit of humor. I mean, it depends on your type of humor. I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like Get Out was funny as hell.
Oh yeah.
Us was
Us
hilarious.
pretty
Us was
funny,
pretty funny, too.
and so was this. I thought there was some good laughs.
Yeah.
Good laughs.
Couple chuckles.
Couple chuckles.
I
Couple
think you
chuckles.
need that with horror movies nowadays. Like you need to kind of balance it out a little bit.
Well,
Somewhere.
I think there are certain movies that benefit from having it, and there are other movies where it would feel weird. Like I don't know if you
Right.
want to have
It
weird
depends,
jokes,
like you said, yeah.
dropped in the middle of like The Witch or
Or like
something
Malignant.
or
No comedy in that.
Probably not.
A movie about a guy with a hook on his hand that has bees coming out of his mouth that
It's-
clearly is never
yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Probably should throw some humor into that.
Right.
Agreed.
Same thing with Michael Myers and Halloween. Probably a little bit,
Yeah, well said.
just a little bit of humor.
Well, especially like Halloween, and so not obviously not to the extent Halloween has, but like Candyman, there's been several sequels. Halloween's been a million sequels. It's been done to death. Like sometimes it's just the monster's been seen so many times it's just not as scary. So
Right.
sometimes you need to like mix in a few laughs to like get people let their guard down and then scare them again.
Actually, that's it.
Screw
Babadook wasn't really
Dude,
funny at all.
you know it'd be awesome? Unfortunately, probably couldn't go as Candyman for Halloween, but that
No.
would be a pretty awesome costume with
It
that
would be.
boss jacket and that hook.
Yeah, it'd be a cool costume
It'd
for
be a pretty
sure.
easy costume too. It's almost like actually, I just thought of this. You know the guy, the killer in I Know What You Did Last Summer with the raincoat and the hook.
Yes,
Isn't that the same kind of idea as Candyman?
pretty much.
Except Candyman.
Yeah,
has
they-
I mean, a guy with a hook on his head, that's
Right.
like
Yeah, a
as
pirate.
old as time.
Yar.
Yes.
Hey Andrew, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
R. You think
think
it's the R, but it'd be the C.
Yar.
But
All right, Andrew, your favorite and least favorite characters in Candyman. Candyman.
Least favorite character would probably be the art critic,
Yeah,
or
he's mine too.
no, her, the art critic.
Oh, the critic. Oh, yeah, not the art, like curator or art dealer.
Whatever
okay.
he was,
They
yeah.
both sucked
They
equally.
both were losers.
Yeah.
The art scene. Those people. I would probably go Tony Todd on them and just start
Yeah.
poking them with.
Dare I say everyone in the art exhibition? Everyone.
Yeah, everybody in that movie that was involved in art that talked for like even at the dinner when they're like the second time
Oh,
when
they were all
when he's
so
peeling his
annoying.
disgusting hand, like go to the doctor. Bro.
Yeah, that
Like,
was nasty.
That was
Yeah.
making me ill. That
You know,
guy.
You know what I kept thinking of when they were in the art exhibition is the episode of Always Sunny when Frank pretends to be the art dealer and he's
Yes!
walking around with like
With
the
the
white
wig.
way. Hello, I forget what he says. What he says his name is, but it's so
oh yeah,
funny.
he's great.
And he's like,
That's
garbage. Oh my God, what's that? And like, that's a trash can. He's like, oh, I knew that. That's right. Like, oh, they're all so full of shit. All right, favorite character, Andrew.
That's a tough one. I really liked. Forget his name. The fucking lunatic dry cleaner guy.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the
That
actor's
was
name
the
is-
kid. That
he's
was
good.
the kid from that experienced his own Candyman growing up.
Yes.
Right.
That guy was pretty
And
good.
wanted to keep the legacy of Candyman going,
Which
obviously.
is
So
weird.
that's
Yeah.
the,
I mean, it's that
that's
whole.
the second twist in the movie that I
Yeah.
did not see coming.
I didn't see that coming.
I guess I
either.
understand his point. It wasn't totally out of left field. That made things a little bit more
It
interesting.
was
I think.
yeah. That was a curveball for sure.
So I know the actor's name. His name is Coleman Domingo, and he was in.
Fear the
I don't know if
Walking
he was in Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if he still is. William Burke is his character in this movie.
Yeah,
William. He was a good character.
Yeah,
Very
it was
good.
very good. I like how they did a good job with the flashbacks of tying everybody in throughout the movie.
Right.
The only
Yeah.
one that kind of confused me was but then I figured it out afterwards when she was having the nightmare, his girlfriend, and it was her
Brianna.
dad jumping out of the window. Then I was like, wait. For a second, I thought that was William Burke jumping out of the window.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what just happened? It just kind of came out of left field, and I was like,
Yeah,
why?
that
is she-
didn't
and I was
really
like,
that
oh.
was a little confusing.
kind of a little just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there, and I feel like they didn't really flesh out that story about
Enough.
the girlfriend's father a lot. I
Yeah,
forget- what
they just
was-
kind of
what was
touched
her
on it,
name?
and that was
Hold
about
on.
it.
Sorry.
Brianna.
Brianna, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, we just saw this.
Maybe
so
just to
it's
give
like-
a little
yeah.
bit more backstory to her, because you really didn't have much backstory on her, so
Yeah.
that was probably what they were trying to do.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with you on the art people. They all sucked equally, so I think those would collectively be my least favorite characters. I think Tony was pretty awesome. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
A pretty good character. And the actor playing him did a really good job portraying the character. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
He played a good guy losing his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's a good actor. He's been in a lot of shit that I didn't even realize. I know.
I know. Super familiar. I was
Black
like,
Mirror.
I feel like I've seen him in...
I know you said I don't watch *Handmaid's Tale*, but I know you said
Handmaid's
you
Tale,
love
yep.
*Handmaid's Tale*, Kat. So I know it's a show that you dig. I didn't know he was in that. And then he was in Aquaman. He was Black Manta, I think, which I don't think I saw that, but he's in a good amount of stuff. Good actor. Kat, did you have a least favorite and favorite character?
So I actually really liked Brianna as my favorite character because I really liked that one scene where she just snaps and she's stabbing the guy
With the pen.
multiple times, and Anthony's finally like, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Like
That was pretty good. Yeah. I think
she, like,
think you got him.
to go back to the whole like final girls
Yeah.
thing, she totally like is the final girl.
Good final girl.
Yeah.
Good final
Yeah,
girl.
and
Yep.
she evolved from this, like kind of bougie art curator to this person that's now stabbing, someone uncontrollably and
Yeah.
is just like on a whole other level by the end of the movie.
Yeah. And she's overcome a lot too. Her dad killed herself. She
I know,
found the bodies
right.
of her friends / coworkers.
Yeah.
So she'd been through some shit.
My worst character, I think, is that high school girl. She sucked. I hated her. The one
that was at
she was
the
at the exhibit.
Oh,
and then,
the one that did the Candyman.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean, she didn't even need to be in the movie. Like,
Yeah,
why?
she was playing
what?
a douchey.
She sucked. Like, everything about
So-
it. And
so
she's
I
like,
wanna
"You guys
clarify
were-"
It was a way
something.
for them to get Candyman to kill more people.
I just want to
Yeah.
clarify something real quick. When I say worst character, I mean, who did I hate the most?
Your
Not
least-
saying,
yeah,
not saying
your
that they were,
least
not saying
favorite.
that it was a bad character. Not saying that it wasn't played correctly. I'm saying I didn't like them. Not saying that they didn't belong in the movie.
Right.
That's what. So
Right.
that's what I would.
That's
I
why
just
it's
want-
worded least favorite character and
Yeah.
least favorite
Well,
character.
I feel like she didn't need to be in the movie.
Okay, that's
Well,
fine.
because the
Fair.
only reason she was in the movie was because Anthony said, who the hell would actually summon Candyman? Who would be that stupid to do that? And they flashed to the high school girl.
Yeah. Well, it's something that kids would do in high school, right? On a dare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
get
what
it.
you do.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, whatever.
They're high school kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done
We were
dumber
just talking
shit
about
when you were
Bloody
in high
Mary.
school.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. Ouija boards, the whole nine. Yeah,
So-
That's stupid.
I know.
Next category is cast info, and I have a couple of little tidbits here that are pretty interesting. So,
Tidbits.
So Tony Todd and Vanessa Williams, who play Candyman and Anthony's mom, respectively, are the only cast members from the past Candyman film to return for the film. Both appeared in the first film, obviously, while Tony Todd was in the sequels as well. And the role of Anthony originally was supposed to go to Lakeith Stanfield. He turned that role down to be in Judas and the Black Messiah, which came out earlier this year. So he was in Get Out, so he's worked with Jordan Peele before.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that when what's the main guy's name in Get Out? He takes the picture of him and he loses his mind. He kind of like snaps.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's so that guy was,
Okay.
I guess, auditioned to play the role of the main character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony. That's
Okay.
right. Andrew, any nitpicks with this movie you want to talk about?
Any nitpicks?
I have several. You can start with me.
Go ahead.
Several.
Okay.
The bee sting that goes from a little tiny like pimple to like crawling up his hand. And,
Well, that's
like,
meant to be the start of him turning into Candyman.
I get it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go to the doctor?
Why wouldn't you go to the doctor?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't
yeah.
As soon as
Yeah,
my
yeah,
hand
yeah.
looked like that, I'd be like,
Yeah.
maybe
and
I
he's like
wouldn't go to the
peeling
doctor,
his
actually.
skin off. I'm
Yeah, that
like,
was
oh
gross.
my god.
By the way, when he
and
peeled off his
the
fingernail,
nail?
that was
Yes.
gross.
That was
Oh,
gross.
that was
That
nasty.
type of
I couldn't watch
stuff
that.
Yeah,
makes me
it
sick.
freak-
Like, you can
freaks me
stab
out.
someone in the head
Yeah.
when it's your skin and
Yeah,
your,
it's
your
gross.
fingernails.
Yeah.
Fingernails, gross.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he looked nasty.
I also didn't really dig the like weird honeycomby.
Oh, I thought that
makeup
was cool.
on
I liked that.
No, I thought it looked fake.
Okay.
I thought it looked like it was too much on his neck specifically. Like when he was talking to his mom
Yeah.
in that scene, I was like, that looks so fake. Like it I mean,
I don't think it looked that
I don't think
fake.
it looked
I
that
thought it
fake.
looked
I think it looked
awful.
good. It looked gross.
Yeah.
I thought it looked fake.
Looked like he was just like breaking down.
Yeah,
Looked like
looks
his
he
body was
just, yeah, it's
failing.
like, what are you turning into?
Yeah, exactly. Is this The Fly or is this
Well,
Candyman?
and the fact that like, okay, another nitpick, I guess, another scene that bothered me was when he's sawing off his arm and he just like lets him do it. Doesn't like
no, at that point
scream.
though,
He's not
no,
like
at that point though, like
passed
he was
out.
so fucked up.
Right.
Andrew,
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
Like, he was beyond fucked. Like, he was turning... Half his body was, like, a honeycomb or whatever, like you said.
Yeah.
Decaying, rotting from the inside.
So that means he can't feel his arm? His arm's just gone?
Yeah, what difference does it make? The arm's gone anyway, whether the guy cuts half of it off.
How can he move it then? Like, it's... I don't know. I
It's
get
a
the movie.
fucking movie.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to suspend
know.
disbelief.
He had a couple tears coming out of his eyes.
Yeah, like, you shed, like, 2 tears.
No, it was
the guy
like
cut off my arm.
it was like this guy's cutting off my arm and I can't do anything and I actually don't even care, so I don't even know what it matters
Yeah,
anymore.
all right. Well, go ahead. Mike, what's your nitpicks?
Some of the stuff you said, dude, you have like gangrene. You need to get to the fucking
Yeah,
doctor,
go
bro.
to the
yeah.
Not even
Well-
gangrene, like their skin's rotting.
Like,
Yeah.
skip the minute clinic. Like,
yeah,
go to the ER.
dude, go to the fucking ER.
You just peeled off half your finger in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was disgusting. That was disgusting. And I mean, I guess my just overall nitpick of the movie, I wish it was a little bit more
Well,
subtle.
why didn't his mother say you should probably go see a doctor?
No
when
kidding.
She rubbed it. She's like rubbing his face. and
She
she's
knew
just
what
like,
it was, though, at the same time, I'm sure. Right? Because he's the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably didn't know that he was turning into the Candyman.
Well, what do you
Or
mean she
maybe.
didn't know?
Didn't anybody else see the hand? Like a bunch of people saw his hand and no one said anything.
Yeah. He had it out at dinner with
All the
everybody.
time.
I'd be like, we're eating dinner here. Get your gross hands
What are you
out.
doing?
Hold on.
Get your
Here's,
Dude, you got-
decrepit finger.
What are you doing, man?
here's a thought.
Where did you get that towel from? And then he like got
Somebody
the towel.
get this man some like lotion or something.
And
Jesus
when-
Christ.
and I'm trying to remember when he wrapped
hand
his.
cream.
He used some weird towel that he wrapped his hand with, and it was at like some scene of a crime.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Like, what happened to your hand? Oh, I just got stung by a bee.
Who got
Like,
murdered right
what?
before that? I think it was the fucking art critic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like in her apartment. He's like, oh shit. So
Yeah.
he just took that from her house and then is at dinner peeling his hand
Oh
off.
my God.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking loser.
All right, cool. All right, so I know
Wait,
someone.
did you have all your nitpicks? Did you say nitpicks?
Did you have any nitpicks? Could you think of any?
I had no nitpicks.
Okay,
None.
cool.
'Cause
Moving
it's
on.
your favorite horror movie of the year so far.
That's not saying much, but it was a solid watch. I'd give it 1.5 thumbs way up.
One and a half thumbs, way up. Mm.
Not just 1.5 thumbs.
No, because that wouldn't be in the.
What about way
Spirit
up?
of
Way,
cat.
way up?
I don't fucking know. Up. They're up. How
right.
high up? I don't know.
Half of your thumb? Do you want me to saw off the other half?
Yeah.
Kat, I know you already talked about this briefly, but you want to touch on your best death since we already talked about it a little bit.
Yes. So the art critic, when she gets killed in her house and her face
Yeah,
is
that
like
was-
wiped on
that
the
was
window.
awesome. That was really cool.
Well, because you didn't. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And it was cool the way that they shot that, how it was like from afar, and then all of a sudden you see him like leave,
Yeah.
and she comes out and she's just slammed against the door, and her like whole face is just painting the door
Yeah.
with blood. It's gross.
Yeah. I would have liked mine to have been all of the high school girls getting massacred, but they showed so little of it. I wish
Yeah.
they had showed a little bit more. I mean, I get their kids.
Like an organ or something.
Yeah, like something, or
splats.
like maybe some more of what Candyman was
Like, I
actually
liked when you saw
doing
like
to
the
them.
waterfall of blood from the
that was-
first
yeah,
girl.
that was cool.
kind of cool, but
Yeah.
it was also like, is that what that would look like? I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess I would have to give it to the art dealer who was getting dragged by his foot with the hook.
Yeah.
And when he was like hanging from the door and he dropped and he smashed his face on the ground and then
Oh, yeah.
a puddle of blood and then it's like as he was getting dragged, his face just like scraping blood across the floor. That was nasty. That was a good one. Very
Can
good.
we talk about
That might have been the best Candyman scene. Because
Yeah.
you saw the most of him because there were so many mirrors in the place.
Right.
Like when
Yeah.
he was ripping like the screen as he was walking along, and you could see it happening without anything there, but he was like looking in the mirror and you could see it, and you couldn't see him. Like that was cool. I liked that part.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, I was gonna say, if we wanted to go back to the art critic, I actually wrote a little note. Did anyone else find her house like Willy Wonka-ish with the weird? So like all of the doors were like curved, so it wasn't like a square like door. There was like it was like a half moon.
Yep.
It almost looked like a Willy Wonka like fun house.
I didn't
Is
know
that
pick up
just-
on
No
that.
one
I
picked
mean,
up on
I
that?
noticed the door.
The door and
Outside
then
of
a window
that-
and then another thing and then the wall was
what
actually
other window?
curved. Like so there were two
Very
doors.
modern,
There was a
artsy
mirror.
fartsy house.
I know, it was just
It wasn't
weird.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it was. It was so the weird. It
Ew.
was set up very strange. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's a load of fudge.
Whatever.
Okay. Is
Watch it
that
again.
everybody for best
Tell me
deaths?
what
Did you have one? Did you
I
already
mean,
go?
I mean,
you guys pretty much nailed them. I guess maybe would be outside of those ones would be when.
It's okay to disagree with us, too.
What was her name?
Brianna?
Brianna, oh, yeah, when she stabbed,
Pen,
yeah,
yeah,
she
then
stabbed
that's good.
William 1,000
That was
times.
That was aggressive.
Pretty aggressive.
With his own pen too.
Yeah,
How
that was
about
pretty
that?
cool. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was right. That was with the laundromat.
Right.
Nice touch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lady and gentlemen, I should say, I ask you, would Candyman, this new version, or even, hell, the original one, would it make a good haunted attraction?
I think so.
I think so, too.
There's a lot of places. I mean,
You could do something that just
The
don't fucking put
neighborhood.
any bees in this. Like I don't care if they're trained bees
Oh
or
my
what they
God,
are, but just
actually,
those.
I didn't even think of that.
I don't think you could legally get away with that, but you could,
You could
like,
do
do
the sounds.
fake bees
You
and
could do
sounds
buzzing and hives
Yeah,
and-
yeah, you can
and
do
just
that.
and just honey oozing
Yeah.
out and dripping on you, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And your hand just starts to turn to some scaly mess.
I especially think so, like, in the first one, the original one from 92, when what's the main character's name? Helen. When she is like in the project and she crawls through that opening and then she
Yeah.
turns around, and it's like the graffiti of Candyman. So she's just
That would be a
coming through
cool
his mouth.
entrance into
That'd
it
be
where
a
you
really
go
cool
through the
thing to
mouth.
do. Like, there's a lot you could draw from.
Oh.
Candyman's a scary villain. You could do a really kick-ass haunted house with Candyman. Either the old one or this one.
Well, yeah,
or
especially if you
both.
play with mirrors, because mirrors in a haunted
Yes.
house very
Yep, big deal. Big
good way
deal.
to do it.
Any thoughts on that? Anything else you guys
I would
want to
do that.
extrapolate on?
And do we normally ask too if this would make a good sequel?
Yeah, that's actually up
That's
next.
the
I was going to
next-
ask, does this deserve a sequel, and do you think it'll get one? Andrew?
I think you very well could do a sequel. I would watch a sequel of it. I feel like you could do as many sequels to like the way that they built this
Yeah,
is very
you could
similar
keep
to
going.
the Fear Street movies,
Yeah,
where
that's a
they
good
like
point.
we're going like it started back in this year, it started
Yep.
back in so you could
Yep.
you could go as far as you want with it.
Well, and
Necessary.
that's arguably probably the saddest thing about this movie, right? Is that these things continue to happen,
Right.
and so that would make sense that there would be more.
Well, yeah, this
more
movie,
ground to
the
cover
original
for a
movie came out
sequel,
30
right?
years ago,
So,
and
like,
nothing's really changed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, which is sad to say out loud, sad, depressing, but yeah, I think we probably will get a sequel to this.
I think we will too.
Yeah, I think we probably will.
I wonder if it'll be Candyman. What would be the
Who's got my lollipop?
Candyman?
It could be called The Candyman Can because he mixes it with love and makes the world feel
That
good.
is way too long of a title.
I was
Way
looking
too
at
long.
an interesting thing that originally,
Candyman Can.
originally in
It's
the
called the
early
Candyman
2000s, they wanted to do a Candyman cross with Leprechaun.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, I would be on board for that. That's
Wow.
pretty cool. That's a good idea.
I was like, that's wild.
Actually, I think I did see that.
Yeah,
when
I was like
looking through notes.
I was like,
and stuff.
Candyman and Leprechaun. How does that even?
Yeah, that's a very
What
strange
universe is this
combination.
in?
Yeah.
But that would be.
It'd be in the Freddy versus Jason,
Dude,
Alien
they,
versus
Yeah.
Predator
dude, they need
universe.
to
Yeah.
make a Clive Barker universe.
Yeah,
Like
with Hellraiser and fucking
Candyman.
Yeah.
Candyman versus Hellraiser.
Yeah, Cenobites and fucking and Daniel Robitaille just hacking at each other. I feel like Hellraiser. I feel like the Cenobites would have the advantage in that fight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
absolutely.
Guys only got one hand.
Yeah. All right, folks. Any final thoughts before we put a bow on this bitch and wrap it up with Candyman?
I think I said a lot. I liked it. I really liked.
Yeah, I think we all liked it. I don't think it's a classic. I don't think it's it's good.
It
was a
could
good
be.
movie.
I have a feeling it could be very well one of those movies where you watch it a couple other times and it's better each time. Maybe
I would
I
gladly
wanna
watch
watch
this.
it
this is one of those
I
type of
would
movies
watch
where
this
like
again.
give it a second watch. Like when it comes out when it's available to stream, I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
well, I mean, I've watched the original Candyman like 10 times, so I'm clearly gonna watch this one
Well,
probably at least
yeah.
3-4 times.
right. At least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely. I would watch this again on streaming. I think for sure.
There's also something different about watching a movie alone by yourself with no one around.
Yeah.
There's something different about it. Like you get a
can
different. It's a
focus
different.
more.
It's a different.
You're immersed.
Yeah.
You're
in the
immersed in
movie.
it, and
Yeah.
you can pick up on different things, and you're not worried about if you farted really loud or did you have your finger in your nose. Were you
joys of
wearing
being at
were
home.
you wearing pants? I don't know.
Those sorts of things. Yeah. Did anyone else feel like was it just me, or was the screen in this movie theater really
Far-
really large? Or were we really
Wait,
close?
actually-
Like
Well, so here's my theory. There was a couple that got there, and they had the perfect middle row.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I fucking hate when people come in, and you have that pervert, and they sit directly in front of you.
That's why I was like,
I'm going to row in between. That's why I was like, I'm
yeah.
not doing that. I fucking hate when people do that because
Well, then
I
they
want to
put
put my
their feet on
feet
your-
up.
yeah.
I want to put my feet in
Right.
between the chairs. There's 6 people in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Sit somewhere else.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then
I
that
agree.
guy that weirdly sat, the other person in the movie
was
theater,
by himself.
that was by himself and sat like
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
kind of
what- yeah.
diagonally.
diagonal,
back
but
of
like
us.
right behind us, like he
Yeah.
was watching us to see our reactions
weird.
on the movies. That's what I was.
Those
wondering.
Yeah.
those things do annoy me. Movie theater etiquette, people. It's
I
called
will
etiquette in the
say-
movie theater. Practice it.
Butter popcorn and Mountain Dew was awesome tonight.
There was way too much salt on that fucking popcorn.
It was salty as
I couldn't
hell.
finish it.
Yeah, it was very salty. I think I had like a
Enough
that
sodium
confession.
for my.
Yeah.
For like
Yeah,
a day.
I think we all like
I
this to
know,
varying
yeah.
degrees. Absolutely worth seeing, and go out, support your local movie theater wherever you may go view movies because they're not very busy right now. So I'd say go see Candyman. It's worth your
Yeah.
time. It's
Fun night out.
we're coming.
Something to
Yeah,
do.
fun night out. Absolutely.
And I would recommend bring some candy. I feel like if I had brought, they kept showing
None of us
candy.
I
ate
can't
candy
believe you
during
did
Candyman.
not
I didn't
You of all
have
people, I
any
thought for
candy.
sure you would have been
I'm
doing candy.
growing as a person, and also, do you want to eat candy there? There's razor blades in the candy. What if
That's
What if they put
a
razor
very good
blades?
point.
What if someone
Too.
was like, guess what? Candyman, I'm gonna put razor blades in these people's
Yeah.
fucking
Right?
Yeah,
bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
crunch.
Yeah.
And like,
All right.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. My one final thought, and I forgot to mention this at the top of the episode, so for the first time in about 13 years, I got a little ink done from my friends
yeah.
over at Brass Lantern Tattoo in Plymouth, and I could not recommend them any more highly. My boy Jason Wheelwright, shout out to him for doing such a bang-up job on the tattoo that is now on my wrist and lower forearm. It's very spooky. He did a great job designing it. You can see it on our Instagram page. It's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. If I could toot my own horn a little
You
bit.
can't see it on here. What the
No,
fuck?
no, it's not a visual medium. Excuse, like the podcast. It turns out it's audio only. So, but if you see me around town, you'll see it. You'll see it for sure. So, with that being said, I think that's about all we got tonight on this episode of America's Hometown Horror. Because hey, Otis is getting restless upstairs.
And we got some pizza.
Yeah,
today.
and we got some pizza to eat. So, here's where you can find our show on the following platforms. First and foremost, our website, which is ahpod.com. That's AHHpod.com. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook. Just search for America's Hometown Horror, and you will find us. You can tweet at us at Hometown Horror. You can find us on the gram at Hometown Horror Pod, and you can also drop us a line at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us anywhere if you want to listen to us. Spotify, Google, Amazon, Apple, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, pretty much everywhere else. My name is Mike. I've been joined by my esteemed co-hosts yet again
I'm so
for another
sweet.
2021 movie release. Thanks for tuning into our show. We'll see you guys next week. Say goodbye to your audience, folks.
Adios, muchachos.
Bye.
Later.
A good evening. Be my victim. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.